This video contains spoilers for Spider-Man Homecoming, Avengers Infinity War, Spider-Man No Way Home, and Spider-Man Brand New Day. Well, the Deltarune video did pretty well, so let's follow it up with a completely unrelated video about Silk. There's a special kind of pain in being a fan of a somewhat niche character who keeps getting referenced in things but never quite committed to. A few weeks ago, I uploaded a clip from my friend Eric and I's podcast Back at the Box Office, specifically from our Spider-Man Homecoming video, where I kind of yell about how even if you didn't love Spider-Man Homecoming, there's still a whole bunch of Spider-Man movies and games coming for you, and how my favorite superhero hasn't really shown up in those. But something not included in this clip was my continued references to the character in the movie Spider-Man Homecoming, Cindy. Now, anyone who's been around this channel for a bit can tell you that I am a fan of Cindy Moon, or Silk, the woman who was bit by the same spider as Peter Parker and then locked in a bunker in order to avoid getting killed by the vampire-like spider totem hunter Moreland. And while I'm working on a video in the background about Cindy's origin and how every writer since has been trying to get rid of the whole sexualization, bondage, pheromone stuff, but it will continue to be the thing that she's best known for until Marvel decides she's profitable again, that's not what this video is about. In this video, I want to fully avoid the comics and instead talk about her existence in the MCU, or as you know if you've seen the whole podcast or even the clip, her implied existence. So let me just quote from the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki directly. Despite only being known as Cindy in Universe, an article from Variety, which reported on an upcoming Silk movie, listed Tiffany Espenson as portraying Cindy Moon in Spider-Man Homecoming. However, this article was made after the Marvel Cinematic Universe wiki placed Cindy's surname as Moon based on the conjecture policy. So basically, Tiffany Espenson is playing a character named Cindy in the MCU, and because it is based off of comics, and many side characters in this movie, including the other classmates, are all references to the comics, the MCU wiki decided that she was Cindy Moon. Except Cindy isn't normally Peter's classmate, she's about 3 years older than him. So when context clues were put together and it was determined who survived the blip from the Homecoming cast and Cindy was one of the survivors, this was a correction on her age, making her 5 years older than Peter, despite the fact that she's 3 years older in the comics. But the amount of the age gap isn't really important. The important part is that they went on the same field trip to where he got bit by the spider. It's not like the actual gap in the age isn't super important. Regardless, she was decided to be Cindy Moon based on the MCU Wiki's conjecture policy, and the context clues have kind of pointed at her being a reference to Cindy Moon. Regardless, we see Cindy on the bus in Infinity War, and then nothing for 2 more movies. Unless you count the extended footage of the post-credit sequence from Spider-Man No Way Home, which includes 2 shots, both of which are from the Homecoming era, but that's just like more Homecoming footage kind of. So I guess she's technically in that movie, but it's photos and BTS stuff. So that was it, I thought. Having a Cindy in Homecoming was just a cool reference like the other classmates. No big deal, and she'll probably never come back. And then I watched Brand New Day. So at 3 times it stops being a coincidence, right? Technically this is 4 times, so at 4 times it really stops being a coincidence. So here's the thing. We have to remember that Tiffany Espenson, despite being called Cindy Moon by the wiki and that one Variety article, is only ever credited as Cindy. And while this is going to make me sound like an insane conspiracy theorist, look at the credits of Brand New Day. Everyone who isn't named is credited as where they were. Even Amanda Desfani is only credited as the boyfriend, despite multiple accounts posting that he was Paul, incorrectly. But Cindy is called out by name in the movie, and here's where we get to the real crux of this entire video. Does 4 appearances of a character in the same franchise with the same name let us assume she's the same character, and even if it does, is this a setup for later, or is it just a reference? It is worth noting that Tiffany Espenson hasn't been in anything since 2020, and while I don't want to speculate about her career choices or personal life, and neither should you, she may have stepped away from acting, so a recast isn't so out there. As I said in a TikTok comment, Cindy is just obscure enough to be a cool reference without getting general audiences excited about something that might not happen. And that's the strange and kind of annoying part about all of this. We simply don't know. But we can cope. Okay, so Secret Wars is coming, and it's relevant to Silk's first run of comics. Like, it ends with there's only Secret Wars, right? And there's a spider in the corner of Peter's door, so that could bite her. And ESU Cindy is like witty, and she's in a movie about people being in prison for having powers, and that's why the post-credit scene's about her actually, and not like Venom or Miles or whoever. let's be so for real. Even all of my Silk heads in the audience. In a post-Spider-Verse movies world, Cindy is not in the top 3 characters who will be in the MCU. Miles, Gwen, and Jessica Drew will all be added before her more than likely, and so the conclusion of this video, of the perpetual Schrodinger's cameo of Cindy Moon, is that she's a reference for comic fans and for those 51 Easter egg videos that will drop the second the movie is on VOD. This can't even be called a cameo really though, it's a reference at best, and eventually we're going to have to accept that. I really like Silk as a character, but I know that Marvel isn't pushing her. She was in All New Spider-Gwen and Spider-Versity, but to say that she was out of character there is a bit of an understatement, but this isn't a doomer video. It isn't just time to be sad because a new wave is coming. Mark my words, there will be another Silk limited series of comics. I'm not going to say ongoing because I'm not full of that much cope, but there will come a day where a new Silk comic run will appear. And how do I know? Because there's one thing that's more important to Marvel Comics than money. Brand synergy.